My name is Tintswalo Molelekoa. I am a PhD student in Plant Pathology, which is in the Department of Plant and Soil Science in the University of Pretoria. How I got here? My undergrad was in Plant Pathology, and in that undergrad, my final year, I had to do a project. And in that project, I was given food safety, just interesting. I got a food safety project which worked on the safety of fresh produce in the informal sector. And this was interesting for me and my team because the informal sector has got less regulation. I can't say no regulation, I think there's less regulation. So it was interesting to see what is the safety of the produce within the informal sector. After doing that in my master's, I realized that there's a lot of contamination in the produce that we get in the informal sector. Then we wanted to know, is this a problem? If a consumer washes it, is it still a problem? Does it mean that it's only at the market? Can it really become a problem in a home? Then we decided to do this same project on a food safety at a home. So we went to different homes in the informal sector to see the safety of their fresh produce. So we did safety at the market, and then the produce was bought at home, and we did safety at home. And this we have seen that when produce is bought in the market with a specific level of contamination, this specific organism can proliferate at home and become a problem. Then if this can become a problem, especially if consumed by people who are immune compromised, a lot of people, they are sick, there's no water, there's no good sanitation. And then after that, we realized, okay, so this is a challenge. The produce that are bought in the informal sector and are taken home can be contaminated and can have high antimicrobial resistance. And this can be a problem. So when I went to my PhD, I wanted to know not just the consumer, not just the market, but what happens to the produce before it gets to the market and it gets to the consumer. So we did my study at the farm level. So my PhD project looks at post-harvest contamination, looks at waste and losses of fresh produce, and small-scale production, which still is in the informal sector. So basically, we want to understand what happened to a tomato and a spinach. Yeah, I call myself a salad, which made up of tomato and spinach, freshly harvested and put on a consumer's plate. That's basically my study. It's what happens when it gets harvested, what happens when the consumer have it. So my PhD at the moment looks at basic understanding of what are the losses that are there. And what we have done with that, we went to the farmers' farms, and then we found that even though there's biological losses such as pests and diseases that are a problem, however, farmers have got poor handling of the produce, which I think is the problem at the moment, is that we have got one of our major losses that we have quantified is mechanical damage, which means that the produce from harvest to the point where it's sold in the market is not handled properly. You know, farmers just decant fruits, and then the fruits are packed up and taken to the market. If these fruits have got cracks, then they can easily get contaminated from things that are in the air, and the consumer can enter. Some of this fungi can actually produce mycotoxins. We've also seen in this produce that we found in the farmer level bacteria that can potentially be foodborne diseases, can cause foodborne diseases. So it shows from the basic food safety study that I did as a plant pathologist in food macro to what I'm doing now in post-harvest pathology study. There's a link between these two fields. We need to understand what happened to the quality of the produce and also what happens to the safety when the consumer eats it. So that, to me, that's the overall part of my study.
Well, I can say that I've learned in the benefits of doing this work, like I'm saying that I included food safety and post-harvest, is that this is transdisciplinary work. Like for example, for my master's and PhD, I've learned different skills starting from being able to do questionnaires, which consumer studies. I've learned to do basic quantification of losses, do plant physiology, do plant pathology. At the moment, we're also doing high throughput technology such as microbiome to be able to identify all of this. And for us to achieve all of that, it was because of the different fundings coming from different bodies, coming from the Center of Excellence, which is an NRF, the Department of Agriculture in Gauteng. So we can already see that even different stakeholders coming together to be able to achieve this. At the moment, we even have projects that are coming from international bodies such as the Food Safety for Africa. So I am grateful to be involved in all these different projects, and thank God for Prof. Costan.